Hello guys and welcome to the Liga Europe podcast. Here reviewing the Canadian Grand Prix and previewing the Japanese Grand Prix. Joining me today is Mark and Gary. So we got a nice little spread of divisions by you lads. I like it.
One of each. Yeah, one of each. That's the dream scenario, I suppose.
And just because people will mention it in the comments, yes, I'm Ivan Mike. We'll just move on. You already know who I am, but we're gonna dive straight into Division 1. So, Gary, if you would like to take us through what happened in the D1 race.
So I'm just going to start off with quali quickly. It was actually a pretty mixed up grid. We had Montana and pole, which I doubt anyone was surprised by that. But then had Daka in second, which was very surprising for me anyway. And then another standout was Jari in P5, which was, I haven't seen Jari that quick since his D2 days. Maybe stop sandbagging for once, but yeah, and then we had Jim a bit lower down P6, and then Bullet Boy, in 7th, Bullet Boy 8, Killer 9th, and Lark in 10th. Those two then had connection issues, unfortunately, for the race, so they didn't actually race. Sterling in 11th, YYY in 12th, Luigi in 13th, V5 in 14th, and then we had Game Boys and Cantera, who both didn't set a time. So yeah, just casual, well not casual qualifying, but yeah, Montana at the front they expect, but a couple of surprise people at the top. But then the race was a bit hectic, to say the least. You had Larkin didn't actually race, he had a power cut like I said, and then Killer got kicked from the session. I think there was a bit of a issue with the lobby, because James also got kicked when he was commentating. And then, yeah, if you watch the old stream, during the first 5 laps, I think he got kicked. So I'm not sure if it was from him or whatever, it was acting up. But anyway, Neo won the race. Fairly fortunate, I have to say, because Montana got very unfortunate in the race. He actually got kicked. I think he was leading the race after the first set of pit stops, and got kicked for about a lap or two, which put him down the order. And then when he joined back, he weirdly pitted for hard. Not sure why, but it worked for him in the end. He got second. I guess he can be happy with that, considering what happened to him. But if he didn't get kicked, fairly sure he would have won the race comfortably. He had a good enough lead over Neo. But Neo, only his second race back, is it, I think?
Yeah.
Yeah, second race back, and he's back winning. A lot of people probably don't know who Neo is, but he's a fucking legend. And to see him win is good, so hopefully he can continue with that. And then we had on-track leader June, who finished first, but in June fashion he came third with 18 seconds worth of penalties.
Jeez.
Yeah, June doing a June. He would have quite easily won this race. He pitted under the VSC for a second pit stop, so it was very handy for him there. So he came across the line with like a 6-second lead or something. So if he had to just cut down on the penalties, he would have been all right, because Neo had 3 and June had 18, which ultimately cost him the race, unfortunately. Then we had the other Spaniard in the other Renault of Cantera, who actually did quite well to get 4th after starting 15th.
Yeah.
I don't think he did much. Oh, actually, so, yes, I forgot something. Montana and Daka had an absolutely unbelievable battle for like 6 or 7 laps for I think it was P3 at the end at the time. It was actually class. I think besides Russia, it was one of the best wheel-to-wheel racing I'd seen so far this season. It was actually quality, so shout out to those two guys. And then in 5th we had Daka, just talking about him. Again, picked up a hell of a lot of penalties, 17 seconds. So, it seems like they struggled with Canada, with the track limits, just a little bit.
I can't believe how quick he's got. He's a lot
Last two
quicker.
races.
Yeah.
Crazy. This guy's
mean,
put
I'm going to take credit for it because Dak has done a little bit of training with me every now and then, but
of
I'm
course
just
you
going
are. The G3 man teaching the D1 lad. Yeah.
I'm going to get
doubt-
roasted for that in
I've got
Discord later.
an element of doubt creeps in.
Yeah. I'm not sure how true that is, but
It's not true at all.
but for me, to be honest, I'm not actually that surprised how quick he is because I've always known. Well, I've always thought he's been a quick driver. He's probably just lacked that self-belief to race with the top guys, but then you saw in Russia how quick he was, and then again today, well not today, like last week. So be interesting to see if he can continue this form going into Japan. So that's what I see. But anyway, moving on. In P6 we had Bullet Boy, and then P7 Massina, I think that's how you pronounce his name. Disappointing for him. He started third, fell down to 7th with 12 seconds worth of penalties. So not the best race for him. Probably one you'd like to forget. And in 8th we had Laluigi, doing bits in the solo Ferrari. Sorry I couldn't be there that week. But yeah, solid points for Ferrari anyway. And then in P9 we had Game Boy, came from the back of the grid to get some decent points. Also didn't get any penalties, fair play to him for that. You think only one of 2 drivers, him and Montana, were the only 2 not to get penalties in the whole race. It was actually crazy. Then we had Jari in P10 he was running up like in 5th or 6th I think, and then he got a bit of damage and had to pit and went on the hard, and he did about 20-25 laps on those hards, so that sort of ruined his race. But if he hadn't got that damage, definitely could have got a good result. Then in 11 we had YHYY, not much to say about that. Don't think he'd be too overly happy with that. Then we had in 12th we had Sterling, who did a 3-stop, so I think he was in the wars a little bit. Then the DNFers were Killer Blue, V5, Larkin, who I said didn't race, and Chapely. So yeah, that rounds off the race. I'm trying to think, did I miss anything?
There was a little incident at the back with Sterling and YHYY, I think.
I don't think I saw that on stream. I do actually. I remember V5 and Messina had an incident which caused V5 damage, which I think is why he ultimately retired. It was a racing incident. I don't think there was much into it, but yeah, I think that covers it. It wasn't the most entertaining race. Besides Montana and Daka's battle, there wasn't much happening on track. So most of it was done in the pits, and like I said, if Montana hadn't got the disconnect, I think he would have won the race quite easily, because he finished only 7 seconds behind Neil, and he was kicked from the line for about 1 or 2 laps, and the AI were very slow, etc. But yeah, that rounds off D1 from me. I don't think there's anything else to go over.
Fair?
I mean, any changes in the championship at the moment? From
Nah, Montana's gone. Like he's.
Oh, I know Montana's like miles ahead.
He extends his lead even over, because Hume is in 2nd, I believe. Let me get the standings up now. Actually, I can find them.
I mean, Montana could probably chill for the rest of the season. Like, he doesn't have to turn up anymore.
I said Montana couldn't race again, and he'd still win the championship. That's so far ahead.
Probably, because Harry and Mitch will be coming. Well, Harry's not doing too bad in the standings still, but if Mitch just won every race, it
wouldn't be enough.
Well, no, that's what I mean. Like, it would be like those guys are going to stop Harry and Luigi. And to be fair, looking at the only thing I would say is Neo could be well placed to actually come 2nd.
He could actually, yeah. But I'm just looking here. Montana has 221 points. The next driver, who's actually an active driver, I'm not gonna, because Rafa's left and Harry is reserve, is Luigi in 4th. He has 66 points. So, yeah, it's done. It's done. Yeah.
There's no.
I think
other
it's a
reason,
battle
like
for
you said.
second in the championship, to be honest.
Yeah, let's not sugarcoat it.
Yeah, like she's like this is it's like it's just ridiculous. Yeah, I'd say the battle for second between Nataluigi, Cantera, Doom, and probably Neil. If he gets a couple more race wins. Yeah. D1's just like to congratulate Montana on the D1 title, and see you next season. But get the champagne out. But yeah, I think that rounds off D1 for the moment. Anyway.
What are your expectations this season? Then we haven't heard. I don't know. Just for a bit of a understanding, Gary is one of the original podcast guys, so this must be quite weird for. It'd be nice for some of the old guys like Doom and Neo, but yeah, he's.
It's weird for me. It's weird for me. I'm usually Ivor. I'm usually the one that's conducting it. I'm like, I just don't speak. But like, yeah, I know it's good to be back. But my aim, I was trying to see where I am. I'm 21st in the championship. I have how many points? I have a solid 8 points. I've scored a point every race I've done, so I can't do much better than that. But yeah, I need to be P5 in games because they're both shit.
Yeah, if you want to be back in D1 next season, I think that's the very minimum requirement, I suspect.
Well, I'm only, 6 points off them?
Yeah.
And they've done a lot more races than me.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
But yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
So, we'll move on to D2. You'd think I would do it, but I didn't really see much of the front of the race. As
You were too busy having a mare, weren't you?
I was too busy having my almost traditional now Canada nightmare, so Ivor can take us through D2.
Okay, so first things first, it looked like it was a return to form for J. Cole, straight off the bat in pole position, getting a fantastic lap in. I think this is one of his favourite tracks as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Well, he usually turns it over around this time, so yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, and second alongside him, probably one of the best qualifying positions I've ever seen him in, velocity, in that Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, what's that about?
I don't think I've ever seen him that high before.
He's just a one-track merchant, isn't he?
I mean, we take it back to Baku when he wanted to join D3. Now he's getting second in Canada.
Yeah.
So I think that proves Maledictus again third as well. I mean, that's a great result in qualifying for him, because I think he did have a bit of a tough time on his first race back in Russia, but done well in quali to get up there. Campbell all the way down in 7th, which was not good. Caesar in 5th, but both of the Hasses had an absolute mare in qualifying.
Whoa, hang on. It wasn't that bad.
What's called? You were down in 9th and Ton unable to set a lap time.
No, he had a quali ban.
Oh, did he? Oh.
9's good for Mark. 9 is good for Mark. He's getting nosebleeds up that high.
Ninth's okay. Ninth was fine. I invalidated my first run, so it put me under pressure.
Another person who wasn't able to get a run in qualifying was Raikkonen. I'm not sure if he had a quality ban as well, but
no, he just bottled it.
Okay, so Raikkonen had an absolute mare, and probably another one of the best performances I've seen in quality was Ben in that McLaren getting up into 5th.
Yeah.
So that was a bit of a shock, but
It was a wet quali in D2, wasn't it?
no, it was a dry quali,
What
wet
was
start
the
to
pole
the
time?
race.
Just out of curiosity. If you have it. If you don't, it's alright.
The pole time.
Yeah.
I'll have a look now. 108.2 from J. Cole.
Actually, good that. Yeah. Sorry, go on.
Alright, so move on into the race itself, and intermediate conditions, very tricky start to the race, and I have no idea what happened to Ben at the start, but he literally just pulled off to the side and just dropped so many positions off the start. I don't know if you caught that, Mark, but
Yeah, it was frantic at the beginning. Everyone was everywhere, it seemed.
It's not the nicest turn ones ever in the world, is it?
No, especially in the wet as well. I mean, I broke I tapped the brakes and then I coasted for like a few meters because I just it's so easy to follow into people on this track. But
Yeah, it's very true. A bit like Monza, just at slower speed.
yeah, and you get pinched. I suppose that's the thing.
Yeah.
Because the second corner is more open than Monza, so in some ways you actually get more pinched on the outside because you can get free cars
again for turn 3.
Yeah. So tough start to the race, especially in Inters. I don't think many people have practiced Inters specifically as well, which won't have helped.
yeah, it did seem at the start, especially that literally J. Cole was just in a world of his own, absolutely flying at the front, and then everyone else was like, I don't want to say struggling with the conditions, but there were a few missed break points and at the chicanes and just going a little bit too deep.
Maybe
and
J. Cole went with a wet setup then.
Yeah.
maybe.
Possibly, yeah.
But obviously, we had Mark dropping all the way to the back on the first lap. Bag of Bones and Campbell also dropping towards the back also within the first few laps. I didn't actually catch what happened on stream with them, but I'm guessing front wing damage.
I don't remember what happened with Bones, but I just basically Toxic decided to disgracefully brake at the right point and not let me dive bomb him. So I ended up taking him out. So I waited for him with my broken wing and then pitted. But yeah, I just missed the braking point. I think under the bridge. I think it was under the bridge.
That's unfortunate.
Well, after that, it was just kind of tiptoeing around until the dry period. I'm just looking for the moment now where we see our first DNF. But yeah, around about lap 10 was a switch over to dries, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it was. There was quite a substantial period of time before the Inters were the wrong tyre, which was it was frustrating because obviously when you break your wing, you kind of almost want to stay out ideally and then just wait for the pit stop. So the guys at the back, I think like Cloudy, Starger, Toxic, Bones, and us lot, our race was kind of run because of that. But yeah, it was a long old wait.
Yeah, and for some reason, Raikkonen, after being out on his mediums for 2 laps, he came into the pits again and just retired from the race. So I don't know, I'm trying to look for the moment now just to see if there was any contacts. I got the stream open by one of the streams anyway.
Just a bit bizarre, to be honest.
Yeah, it seemed like it was just knew he wasn't getting to the end on those tyres. Well, actually, to be honest, he might have actually been able to get to the end on those tyres because there were people saying you can one stop soft to mediums on it.
Yeah.
That was in fourth though.
Someone do that in a race?
Yeah, in a race. I don't think it was in this league, but someone did it, didn't it?
Yeah, someone did it in AOR.
I think Adri was talking about it, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, someone did it. Someone did medium softs. But someone else, I think someone may have in one of the leagues actually done it. I don't know if anyone.
I know why did a one stop, but I'm not sure what way he did the one stop.
It's bloody tough though. Like soft hard's tough enough.
Exactly.
Yeah, just mad. I didn't quite. It was interesting. I for my sins, I haven't actually seen the stream this week. But but some of the faces at the front were a bit unusual.
Well, the thing is, I actually missed quite a lot of what happened, like in the midfield towards the back end, because it was so close at the front. So I was keeping an eye on what was going on up there. It's like Total P's binned it into the Wall of Champions. It was our second DNF, but at that moment in time, you had Velocity and Car Mentalist going side by side for what was 4th place at the time.
Yeah.
Which, credit to both of them. I mean, they had a pretty insane battle for pretty much the entire race.
I think it's hard to lose people here, though, isn't it?
3 DRS zones. You have to be a lot quicker than them if you actually want to break it. Just sit in DRS, save DRS, save fuel, and then once the guy in front of you uses all his DRS, simple pass down the back straight, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, there were people. They kind of went for a 2-stop after the. Well, after the Inters went to dries. Obviously, you had people that chucked on the hards in the hopes of getting to the end with no problems. You had people on the mediums who might have had that chance to stretch it to the end, but kept themselves open, pitting onto the softs at the end.
Yeah.
But you had a few people on softs, one of them being Starger, who came out after his pit stops all the way down with Mark and Bag of Bones. So I think that just shows just how bad that little call to go on the softs was for Starger at that point.
Like a good tire at all across the divisions, like seeing people like using it in the race. That is like if you started on quality, obviously you have to use it, but like the strategy of like soft, medium, medium was a lot better than medium, medium, soft, because the mediums just at the end of the race they wore off so quickly compared to the mediums. Like you catch, but then you just hit a wall eventually, and you won't be able to gain anymore. I noticed it in D1 and a little bit in D3.
I think Starger was just unfortunate that he didn't clear us. If he'd have been a second ahead of us, he would have just been out of the way of me, Mal Doubloons, and Brie. But yeah, it would have been a bit unfortunate for him because he looked like he could have done very well out of that race. But...
Yeah, and then unfortunately, then the stream had a bit of a meltdown for some reason. Apparently, something to do with policies, and I have no idea what happened. But
go to YouTube.
We must have got an email about that. I need to look into that.
Yeah, that'd actually be something to look at. Actually,
we need to. Yeah, because if you get a strike, they will tell you why.
Why? Yeah.
Answers on a postcard. If any of the orgs are looking, who has access to the email account? Is this the old one?
I think Killer has it.
Or
right,
okay. Organised here at League of Europe. We need to. Might even have to message Mitch or someone, but yeah. So we need to keep an eye on that. But that's unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, it was difficult to figure out what was going on because I was still streaming for like 3-4 minutes after, and before I even looked at the stream to see what anyone was saying in the comments, and it was completely gone.
Yeah.
Which, is interesting, but after I was able to re-establish connection, we had a pretty big battle going on for third between Dylan, Ben, Maledictus, and Car Mentalist. Which, I mean, that was a big scrap. Ben, who was on 10 lap older tyres and those guys, you had J. Cole and B. Morgan, who were miles ahead in their own little world up front. But the battle for third was really starting to heat up. Quite a few side by sides here and there. There was a incident with Maledictus and Dylan where they just touched on the Oh, actually, just looking back, it looks like Maledictus just loses his back end. Little bit of a snap, and that just catches out Dylan, who was pretty close behind him.
Yeah. But I mean, incidents aside, I suppose, because I think I'll go look at the stream as well. It didn't seem the most. I think the rain kind of killed off the large elements of the strategy, which was a shame. I think that it kind of put a dampener on the race a bit, but it's opened up some interesting opportunities at the top. Because the leader of the championship is a chap that's going to be off for 4 weeks at some point.
Yes, and
Who is leading D2 actually?
Dan, I think, wasn't it?
Nope. No.
Oh,
Caesar.
Caesar, was it?
Caesar.
Yeah, Caesar's winning. He's got a little bit of a lead actually on Dan and Raikon. Raikon scored no points in the last 3 races, which isn't going to help.
Tight, actually.
Yeah, really tight. I mean, the top, what is it? Top 8?
Yeah, you could say top 8, top 7.
Yeah.
I'd say top 7.
It's interesting because I think it's Dan's titles to lose because there's not many people around, so to speak, that are going to be there consistently. Caesar's not going to be there for 4, I think, of the rounds. Raikon isn't racing this week again, so...
I mean, J. Cole could have a lead charge towards the end of the season, and you never know, Campbell could put in a very good challenge as well. At the same
Campbell
time.
has no chance. Campbell's too busy worrying about what Mark has to say.
I'll beat Campbell.
Yeah, I'd bet on that as well.
I mean, let's go another one.
In the championship.
Another one, B. Morgan could be on a late charge towards the end of the season as well.
Yeah, he's a bit meh. Not in a bad way. When he's good, he's very good. But when he's off, he's really off. If you want to be a champion, your off days should be top 6. His off days are 10th, 11th, 12th.
Yeah.
You just don't have the consistency to. I don't think, not this season, maybe next season, but this season I don't think he has it. I wouldn't put him as a favourite anyway.
The only other person to retire from the race was Cloudy, and I think he was involved in a few scraps with Mark at some point.
Ironically, not really.
No.
He never actually hit me. It was...
Okay, that's a surprise.
He hit people onto me. Well, I don't know. Without seeing all the footage, it all just looked... I looked behind, and it just looked so messy. Problem is, I won't bore everyone with the exact gory details, but the straight obviously turns right slightly, doesn't it? The back straight.
Yeah.
In Canada, and he turned in right too much, and Starger didn't turn in at all. So he's kind of whacked into Starger, who's lost it. He's whacked into me, and I don't know, it's just messy. I think it was just 3 guys that are quite quick, but just don't really know how to race wheel to wheel all the time. And I don't mean that badly towards Starger. I just think it's tough being side by side with people for 10 laps and not making a mistake.
It's not the greatest track also for wheel to wheel action. There's a lot of chicanes, a lot of one line corners. You think you can go too wide, you just can't.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a messy old track. It is, to be fair.
Yeah.
And then pretty much to round out the end of the race, J. Cole, fantastic performance, 17 seconds clear of B. Morgan in second. And then we had a drag race to the finish between Car Mentalist and Velocity, which was insane to see. And unfortunately for Car Mentalist, he had penalties which dropped him into 5th because Caesar was able to get 4th from him.
Oh, that's disappointing. I would be raging if I was him. How many? What? Say we got like 69 seconds probably.
Then we had another little drag race to the finish between Campbell and Mark's teammate, Ton, for 9th place, but Ton's penalties dropped him all the way down to 11th.
Yeah.
Oh, no, sorry, 12th, because someone jumped up last second. Who was it that jumped up? I think it was Bagabones who jumped up. Yeah, without a single penalty.
Yeah, no, yeah, he didn't have any pens. He did really well that race. To not get any pens in this wet to dry is bloody good going. He deserved that point, I think.
I think that rounds off D2 then, doesn't it?
Yep, that rounds off D2 race, and don't think a huge amount changes in terms of the championship. It's still pretty close, like.
I think it just what's the word? They're all coming on top of each other. They're all merging. They're all merging at the top. That's the word I was thinking. So
Because it's so close. It's 2 races time. It's not going to be close, if that makes sense, because not everyone's going to score the same amount of points. Yeah. So I think it will become clearer after. Obviously, we've got where we are now, Japan, and then I believe we're off to Austria.
Yeah.
I think after Austria, we'll definitely see where people are, and who's fighting for first and who's fighting for fourth, I think.
But I think this race is definitely one that Mark would really want to forget.
Yes, indeed.
I'm going to say it's an improvement from last season. He didn't kill anyone.
Yeah, I'm on the up. Every this season's been an improvement, and sadly, so is Canada. But yeah, I suppose talking of improving and getting better, we go on to D3, who had a very interesting race. To be fair,
Actually, a very good race to watch.
I really enjoyed it. It was one or two things that made me sad, but we'll come on to that on the race. But the quali was, well, it was obviously very difficult conditions, being qualifying in the wet. Yeah. How did you amend your setup, Ivor, if at all?
I literally just saw it was going to be dry in the race. I just went, right, I'm just going for a dry setup.
I think most...
A lot of people have done that.
Yeah, and which was impressive because obviously you come second with James in first, returning to form, which is great. We got older Norwich City in third place, which is a good result for him, one of the newer drivers. 2 Spaniards, Frey in fourth. Frey's weird. Frey can be really quick one track, and then he'll be nowhere another.
I mean, Frey had to get up there. You know, Adri wasn't there this race, so there had to be a Spanish lad up there.
Nico in 5th, the Bread Bank in 6th, Ryan in 7th, which was really good to see him kind of return back to some kind of pace. Nizzle Cam Izen, NCL, I'm going to call him.
Doesn't matter. That guy's left. It's alright. You don't need to.
Oh yeah. Yeah, whatever. Allegedly in 9th. Eduk in 10th. Smitsky in 11th. Ricardo TTV. I believe formerly known as Koz Ricky, who is a very quick driver, but he's transitioning to wheel, so he's not as quick as what other people may know him. Jasper 13th, Big W 14th, with a very disappointing 10 place grid. Oh yeah,
yeah,
of course.
Did they crash before? Did they not? In a different quality? Or am I thinking of someone else? Big W and someone else?
On the race, they had an incident at Russia, didn't they?
Russia, there was the turn 1 incident where he came back.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, that was so. They unfortunately both of them got a 10 place grid penalty, which Which is interesting because if Edug was 10th, I'm guessing that means he got pole.
Yep,
Yeah, he did.
He did set the quickest lap. It wasn't by
Well,
a
like,
huge amount they set it,
thousandths of
but
seconds, I think. 6,000ths of a second to James. Close. Very close.
yeah, it makes me wish I didn't validate all my laps.
And then Ibo, Dave, Kursk, Ghost, Cloudy, and Macca in no time. Okay, fair enough. That's a bit unusual. But yeah, nice to see James to come back to form, and obviously he held it over and threw into the race, didn't he? So very good result for him.
I think he was only one of the few to start in the mediums actually. At the front, I think majority chose pick softs. I think that's probably what got him the win at the end. Just the different strategy.
Yeah, because the top 5 or 6 all had different tyres, didn't they? Either you went with.
Well, I went with the softs. I know James went on the mediums. Norwich in third because he was the only one I saw. I could see his tyres and that. He was on the softs as well, and Breadbank was on the softs also. I didn't see anyone else's tyres, to be fair, because it was only the same 3 people, and I kept seeing like the second and third on that first stint.
Yeah, but there's just so many little incidents. I think you did your I'm doing well, so I'm gonna not brake for the pit lane trick that you do.
I mean,
Everyone does that.
I mean, I just went straight on. There was just no slowing me. It was like you're in first, right? You're carrying way too much speed by you, but like we can't slow you down, but we can't do it.
I did feel for you there. That really impacted your race because you had that, and then you had the wing change. So he was in the pits what felt like forever.
10 seconds altogether. 10, 11.
Red Bull lad able to pick it up.
Absolutely brutal. But yeah, you did well to get third. I think you got a bit of stick from Adri, so you should have won.
Well, Adri's saying that because James is so close to him in the championship now.
Adri's sweating.
Yeah, and he's not shy of. He's like the D3 Yari.
Oh, fuck. Let's try and get those two in a party together.
But no, and good results really. Good drives from. I mean, it's mad, isn't it? All the pens. But
I didn't know the pen
Redbank
situation
got
at the end.
disqualified.
Did anyone get disqualified? No,
No,
No.
Redbank was got like 24 seconds or something ridiculous.
Yeah, that was. But it just shows. I think any of the top 4 really. I mean, if they could have kept it, Bag of Bones would have won that race, as an example. Do you know what I mean? So it's a tough one. And Breadbank. Wow, I mean,
His
he had
drive's a bit
I mean, he easily could have got a podium there. If not, he might have had a very good chance of the win if he just didn't keep getting those penalties.
I think he's a bit robust wheel to wheel.
Yeah, I can say, and trying to put people in the wall.
Yes, I know. I was one of them.
He's a bit on the mark, but quick, definitely quick. But
We drive like he's in an online lobby.
I mean, he said to me after the race that he didn't look at his indicators to let him know when someone's side by side with him.
well,
Which
Maybe we should look next time.
that explains.
yeah, that does, I suppose, check out. A lady in 6th with no pens, and that meant that he was way back. In fact, he finished behind on track to Wakursk, so jumped him. Frey in 8th, which was a nice result. Smitsky in 9th. Big W in 10th. Big W must have had quite an action-packed race then. I
think he
don't...
didn't he have a crash lap? I think Nico caused a big crash. I don't know what happened. I saw it on stream. Nico was like sideways into T2, and Jasper T-boned him. Jasper retired, I think, about 5 or 6 people got damage from him. I think, anyway.
Yeah, then... Go on, Ivan, can you shed any light on it?
Well, I was going to say it's unfortunate for Nico that he keeps disconnecting all the time from the sessions.
Right, okay, yeah.
I think he has dodgy internet.
Because I'm not sure whether any of those incidents were him disconnecting, reconnecting, getting back into his car, and there's, him taking control of his car has like caught him and other people out at the same time. I mean, I don't know, but it's unfortunate that he keeps disconnecting because he definitely does have the pace to be up there, but connections are killing him at the moment.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Ricky with a penalty-ridden 11th, he was a while back though. Ibo jumped ghost on pens, so he got the last point, and then it was Ryan, Nico, Maka, Cloudy and Dave who finished, and then obviously we had Jasper unfortunately running into the back of people, I think on lap 2 or 3.
Yeah, that was the Nico incident.
God, that was tough on Jasper.
Yeah.
There's nowhere he could go. The car was literally sideways. He couldn't have gone left or right. It wouldn't have mattered.
Wrong place, wrong time.
But what it does is it makes the title back on when it looked potentially very much off. So James managed to pull back 25 points on Adri and narrows the gap to 7. MCR is unlikely to be here for, I don't know, I just don't think he's going to be here for much of the racing. Heated,
He's back this week.
Heated's back. Big W's obviously very quick. Eduk and Ira and Wuta and Nico and Aledi and Smitsky in all fairness. And Norwich City now and the Bread Bank, and there's so many people behind, but it's going to be
very
tight.
open. Yeah, similar to D2, very open. 6 or 7 people could win it.
I think right now, just going off what we've seen so far and like this season so far, we got the top 2 fighting in James and Adri. I think that's going to be a fight that will continue on unless they have an absolute mare in the next couple of races and it goes. But I think that's going to be like the championship fight, and then you're going to have Heated, Big W, Edak, me, Nico if he can get his internet sorted, kind of all having that 5-way scrap for what could potentially be third, and then you got like Norwich and Red Bank who have, and a lady as well, and Mr. Ruta when he comes back as well, who are going to be well and truly in that fight as well come towards the end of the season.
Definitely. Agree with that.
So no, it'll be interesting. I think it will. Again, it's another one where in the next 2 races, it'll either definitely be a 2-horse race or it will widen back up. So that will be definitely in the last 6 races. See where the title fight is going to be, and the fight for third and stuff. So again, another one that's poised but difficult to talk on right this second, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think after Silverstone we'll kind of know where everything is.
So on to rainy Japan.
I say we just call the race off this weekend, lads. Like film, you can never be too sure.
I mean, we can call off quali if you want. I think that's what they're going to do in real life.
Just run it in the wet.
Just keep the boat.
Mark really wants a wet time though.
Just get boats. Get fucking boats. Racing boats. That's what I say.
It is a fun track. It's a hard track. It tends to be more of a wheel track, particularly in the dry, I should say.
The S's are like the best thing since sliced bread on the wheel.
Yes, it is. An absolute nightmare on controller.
Yeah, just well, I'm not on the controller. Are you on the controller, Mark? Oh yeah, you are. Unlucky.
Yes. It's not. That's not. I think the Degmans are quite good on controller. As is any hairpin. I think hairpins don't really make much odds.
Spoon's a bit tricky.
I was going to say spoon's easy because you're kind of full locking.
No, I mean to get the best exit and everything.
Yeah, but it's not really a nuanced corner. It's kind of just turn in for your life and hope you don't
Hope you
crash.
don't want to gravel.
Hope you don't Sebastian Vettel.
Yeah, we'll be not having that on this podcast, right?
But I don't know. We've got. I believe we're 90% sure that obviously Mitch and Harry are going to be back for this race, which will be.
That will spice things up in day one.
Yes.
We might have another Russia, 6 or 7 people racing for the win, which would be interesting. Just one thing about the track is the chicane, the final chicane. It gives you. It does give you an instant time pen, doesn't it?
Yeah, I actually done this earlier where cut the first part of the final chicane, instant 5-second time pen slapped on me. I was like, okay, let me just try the second lap, just confirm this. Second lap, bang, 5-second time pen slapped on me.
What do we think the stewards will do here? Because for me,
I don't
this
know what
is
she's going to do. I really don't know what she's going to do.
I mean, if it's before the first pit stop, there's nothing you can do. Because you're going to serve it in the pits.
If they serve it, you can't take it. If you serve the penalty, there's no point reporting because it's not getting removed.
But for me, I think it throws up an interesting question because I mean, maybe I'm open for other people giving their opinion on it, I suppose, which is, for me, we all know it's there, right? If you've done a lap practice and you've all cut it, if you cut it and someone goes, oh, yeah, but I only gained half a second, well, you know it was there.
Oh, yeah.
For me, I don't think that should be removed. I think the only way it should be removed is if you get knocked wheel to wheel.
Yeah, if you're forced to it. If you get pushed over it or whatever. It's like, there's another track. It's a bit like...
Belgium.
Yes, at the bus stop of Belgium. You know it's there. You're not going to go near it.
Yeah.
So it shouldn't be any different here. Also, yeah...
I don't know, I just straight line the bus stop, I don't stop.
Also, that bump on the run up to the line, that is dirty.
Yeah.
You want to stay as far left as you possibly can for that. I think there was a massive crash in D1 last season even, because of that bump. So, you're avoiding that.
What's funny though is that bump actually messes up your setup because
Totally.
you have to run soft. Well, hopefully I'm not giving anyone too many hints, but you obviously have to run soft suspension. Whereas I think here, because if you touch most of the curbs, you're in trouble anyway. I think you'd actually stiffen that quite a bit because that would help you around the S's as well. So it actually compromises your setup around the S's. It's quite clever, I suppose, but it's annoying.
Well, you could just completely go left of it and lose probably about half a tenth for the run up to the line if you don't want to compromise it. But, like,
The thing is, everyone's going to try and keep right for the shortest run to the
that's the
line.
thing. Yeah. In the race, though, I'd stay left. Completely stay left.
Yeah, I agree. Especially if conditions get dicey, like if it starts to spit a little bit, that's going to be horrible because at some point that corner's not going to be flat.
Yeah.
Right. And you're not going to last lap it would have been, and you just don't know what lap it's going to be where it's not. So
be dicey. Be interesting. I'm looking forward to it.
So we've mentioned notable non-attendees and attendees. Obviously, Mitch and Harry and Raikkonen's not racing. I don't think. I mean, don't be wrong. I'm going to say notable. I mean notable for like the title races and for the front of the field. I don't know if there's anyone else. I don't believe so. I know Bree can't. B5, Rick and Wire are off.
We're about 50-50, I think. Yeah, and RJ for DTF. I think everyone else was available to race them.
Yeah, and I think from D3 is only MCR and Mr. Wuta really notable at the top end.
Probably Caracana. I think Caracana can't race either.
Yeah. Anyone got any outlandish? Let's do like an outlandish prediction. Something that people aren't going to say like or Montana's probably going to qualify first, is not going to be outlandish. Is there any, Gary? Give me an outlandish prediction.
I would say I'll win, but that's not quite outlandish, is it? That's to be expected.
Okay.
I could see Jerry doing well. Oh no, I'll say Dak against Paul. Go on. Fuck it. Dak against Paul and wins the race by 20 seconds.
Dak against Paul wins the race by 20 seconds. So that definitely qualifies.
Laps Montana as well. Goes to Fernando Alonso if he passes him.
Go on, Ivor, your turn.
I don't know enough of the D1's.
Any division. Any division. It doesn't matter.
Then I'll stick with D3 then. I'll say he did me and Ibo on the podium.
Okay, alright. I'm going to go with one of Campbell or Dan to DNF.
Campbell.
I'm going to say both.
Oh wow. Got that. So we'll all do our own divisions. Gary, what's the top three going to be in D1?
Do you want a serious one or?
Yeah.
Yeah. Montana's winning.
Montana's winning.
Neil's coming second, and Mitch is getting third. Harry will not be on the podium because he's going to get disqualified again.
Oof. Okay, that's a semi-outlandish prediction. Ivor, D3?
I'm going to go Big W for the win.
Oh wow, okay.
And I'm going to go with James and Adri on the podium.
I'm going to go with... My outlandish predictions now are going to have to affect what I actually think. I'm going to say Caesar first, J. Cole second, Toxic third.
I'll spice it up.
I would. If Caesar needs... hopefully Caesar gets a gap so that...
Yeah, people chase him. And he comes back and he's like, I'm back, bitches. I'm still winning.
That'd be good. But, yeah, any other thoughts at all, lads?
No rain, please.
I don't know, I think we're definitely going to see a wet race in one of the divisions. That's my prediction. We are getting one division with a full wet race.
I think D1's due. I don't think we've had any wetness at all. No wet quali, no wet race. Definitely jinxed it for you lads. I'm very sorry.
Hopefully it's not D3 because... Actually, no, yeah, hopefully it is D3. Then J. Cole can just not quali. That'd be fantastic.
I think that's it. I think that's everything.
Yeah, I think that's it. Okay, right, so I'll wrap it up. Right, thank you guys for joining myself. I've been Mike, Mark, and Gary for the Canada review and Japan preview. Hopefully you guys enjoyed our thoughts on what we think is going to happen in Japan and what happened in Canada. Make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, show some support for your favourite drivers in the comments, and we'll catch you on Saturday at 6:20 for D3, 6:45 for D1, and 7:45 for D2. But until then, guys, we'll catch you again.
Sláinte.